How you doing?
I'm good. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Hi.
I had to bring you in appropriately now.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm a little bit sick, just so you know. So if I sound crazy.
Let me put my mask. Wait a minute.
Right.
Are you okay? What's going on?
No, I'm good. I think I had just caught the flu.
Well, stay away from
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
stuff and get well.
Thank you. Yeah, that's why I'm working on it.
You look good. I'm glad you're here and you took time.
Thank you.
I didn't know you weren't feeling well, but
Yeah, no problem.
without further ado, welcome to the Face Behind the Brand. I am your host, Monique Marie, and you are Lex Bratcher.
Lex Bratcher, that's right.
You are a musician. You are a lyricist. You are a producer, an MC
Yes.
from the DMV. Okay. I am very, very, very humbled just to be in your presence. Your discography, as I told you earlier, it's amazing. It's insane.
Oh, thank you. That's crazy. I appreciate that a lot.
I'm just like, who is this? Like, what did
Oh
I
man.
stumble upon here? It's like I feel so blessed. I mean,
Oh man.
I just thank God, you are here, and this is the last show of the year that I'm doing, and
Okay, look at that.
yeah,
I'm your last. I
yeah,
love it.
that's the last. I know. All of the artists have been amazing, but I just think it's not coincidence though that
Mm,
I discovered your sound, and I've just been a fan ever since. So congratulations to your success this year in the middle of
thank you.
underneath a rock. Uh, in the middle of a pandemic, you have put out
Right.
hit after hit after hit. So talk about where you are from and
Hmm.
who is Lex Bratcher.
Yeah. So I grew up in Maryland.
Hmm.
Um and yeah, I think you had told me like, hey, make sure you have something for when I ask you like,
Yeah.
who is Lex Bratcher, and I still Oh, I guess I would say I would call myself a lyricist before a rapper and before anything else. I found a way to use words to make people feel emotions, and
Hmm.
I love that. And that's what I like. That's what I care about doing more than anything else.
Absolutely.
Um, yeah, so yeah, that's who I am for the most part.
Yeah. Well, I like I said, I listen to, of course, so much of your music. There's some still, of course, looking for more. I always do research. I always love to listen to the lyrics,
Yeah.
and you have a way with words.
Thank you. Thank you. I try.
So
I
where,
try. It's very important.
like, who in the family has this background, this vibe, this energy?
Man, it's crazy. Like, so, um, nobody in my immediate family is really into like is doing music. I don't know why I wanted to start. I think I was 8 or 9, and I heard a song from Rakim,
Mm.
and it was called. It was two actually. It was Microphone Fiend, and there was I Ain't No Joke. And those two songs alone,
Mm.
maybe I was like, whoa, like I want to learn these word for word. So I learned them word for word, and I was like 8 or 9. It's like 2007. Ain't no 8 or 9 year old in
No,
2007 singing. And
just you.
yeah. And so I was just like, yeah, really, I love the song, and I was like, I want to do that. And so I had my mom was dating this dude at the time who
Hmm.
had, I guess he had just started a label, and he would bring me to the studio, and he'd like let me see his other artists, and I was like, oh, cool, like I got to be in a studio, and it was like a basement studio, but it was still like to me it was like it was cool, like
Yes.
and yeah, I would watch them record and watch them like how they got into it and how they really believed everything they was talking about.
Hmm.
And so I remember one day when I was like I said, I was in third grade. I know I was in third grade for sure.
Hmm.
And my stepdad or my mom's boyfriend at the time, whatever, basically he was like, I said, hey, can you just teach me how to rap?
Yeah.
And I think they had gotten into an argument that night. And
Mm.
so he wasn't really focused on me. And so he said, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to write one line for you, and then you have to go from there. So I was just like, okay. So he wrote one line for me, and then I finished it. And no one has ever written for me since.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I remember talking during the preliminary, you mentioned, I mean, you know, even going off into college, of course, you were, you know, taking
Yeah.
political science, following your mom's footsteps. And then here we are
Mm-hmm.
today, this amazing hip hop recording artist, poet, lyricist. So it's just like, I always like to hear the story, you know, the beginning. So let's talk about some of the music, the sound.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Has been a crazy year for all of us. But as I said, you still have managed to come up with some amazing sounds. And we'll start with, of course, some of the singles. Um,
Okay.
I'll start with, of course, Taurine. I know that was just the
Mm.
because that's the last one you came out with, right?
Yes. Yes, that one is.
Taurine, produced by Zeppelin Beats, correct?
Zeppelin. Yep.
Okay.
Zeppelin. He's a producer. I think it's actually a group, but the one dude that I talk to the most, they're from Croatia. So they're
Wow.
on the other side of the world. I know. It's
Ooh,
crazy. Yeah, I found his beats on YouTube one day and I was just like, dude, you're raw. And then he was like, yeah, thank you. And we kind of exchanged, yeah, from there.
yeah, yeah. So then we go backwards because I like to circle back. I'll go to the EP, which of course is Thanks for Waiting.
Yes.
We got 5 tracks off of that EP. Bravo, Gooms, featuring Lisa here, and correct me on the names if I mess up. Okay,
Okay.
is it MIA
Yep. MIA.
featuring Crypt?
Yep.
And then Like That, we came in to Like That Tonight with the single playing when you came in, and then of course Blessed, which was produced by the one and only you.
Yes. Yeah,
So
and then the second one, so I know it's so dumb.
mhm.
It's pronounced like GOMS. And
Goms,
what it is get out it's get out my section, right?
get out my.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay,
Yeah.
so Goms.
Yeah, there you go.
So pronunciation correction there. Goms featuring Lisa here.
That's it.
Okay. So talk to me about Goms and the creative process because it's an amazing sound.
Thank you. Yeah. So that one is actually, I remember writing that one. That one was actually when I was in Arlington at the time, Arlington, Virginia. And I was getting these ruts where I'm like, I don't know what I want to write about. And I don't know, like I'll stop writing for like a couple weeks and I'll just like not write anything. And then I'll force myself to sit down. So this was a song I forced myself to sit down and I heard this beat and I was like, so I think I started rapping. I was rapping fast and I was like, I don't really, like no one wants to hear that.
Yeah.
And so after that, it was like let's just rap with a little bit of confidence, with a
Mm-hmm.
little bit of like style,
Mm-hmm.
and then like with a lot of like a cocky song. And so I was
Mm-hmm.
like, all right, here we go. And then I was like, don't check ID when I walk in.
Oh,
Take a whole scene when I'm talking.
oh my God. Yeah. Okay. Bear with me. Don't do that. Woo, okay. Amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So creative process. That's crazy. And then of course you have Lisa here. So how did that connection come together?
Yeah, so it's crazy. So I met Lee. I performed at this place in DC. I forgot what it's called. I think it's someplace on 8th Street.
Mm,
But it's just like this little bar, and I was able to perform, and he and his group was performing too. And
mm-hmm.
so like I think I had performed at like I would say like 9 o'clock, and that was like when a lot of the big crowd was coming, and he was going to perform later.
Wow.
And anytime I get on the stage, people don't know what to expect because
No.
they see me, they're
Yeah.
like, I don't know if she's going to be good, like whatever. And I'm used to it, and I'm okay with it
Mm-hmm.
because I like the shock value that I have in
Ooh,
that sense, you
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Um, so like he saw me and I think we had say what like, what's up or whatever. And then I performed and I went crazy. And he was like, yo, you're dope, blah, 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 blah. Like we need to work. So we exchanged. And then after that, I watched him perform. He was dope too. And I was just like, hey, yo, man, I got this track and I need a hook for it. You want to do it? It's called Get Out My Section. He
Mm.
was like, I got you. And he sent it back within like 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Perfection. Okay, so I like that a lot. I like, of course, Blessed. I mean,
Yeah.
it's powerful, it's soulful, it's just, it's hip hop. So,
Yeah.
and you produce that. So talk to me about the creative process of Blessed.
Yeah, so I heard this beat and it had that sample and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh man, like I love this sample." So I found the sample itself
Mm-hmm.
and I was just like, "Okay, let me just like try to add like my own how I would want to hear this song."
Mm-hmm.
So then um I yeah, I just kind of took the sample, chopped it up,
Mm-hmm.
put some, 808s behind it, put some hi-hats, all that kind of stuff. And I've been producing since I was young, but I never like the way that I took my rapping seriously, I never took producing seriously. And so I never like I haven't I wouldn't say that my production is up to par with where my lyrics or where my writing ability is. Um
Please. I know how, artists, being an artist, of course, you're hard on yourself. Okay. No
yes, yes.
stuff like this. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, but I was like, you know what, I really like this and I want one at least one song on my project that I made, I produced, I
Yeah.
did everything for,
Yeah.
and not be that
Yeah.
because ultimately like a huge goal of mine is to down the line make music, like make an entire album that I produce, I mix, I mastered everything.
Yeah.
Like that's what I want to do. That's down the line though. I want to make a name for myself first,
Mm-hmm.
and then we can do that. But yeah, and then the writing behind it was just I was thinking a lot about the fact that I had just moved to California. I moved to LA,
Mm-hmm.
and when I was in LA, um, there were some good things happening. There was some bad things happen. There was just a lot of things that were happening, and then boom, COVID had hit.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was really in like a really deep, dark place in my mind because I live by myself across the country from anyone who I know, and I'm stuck in the house, like stuck in my thoughts basically.
Yeah.
And so that the whole song was just kind of me talking about why am I doing this,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like why did I do this?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like I'm humble enough to know that I'm blessed, but I'm hungry enough to
Yeah.
know that I deserve the best. So it's like looking back at all of the decisions I made to have gotten here and saying I'm blessed and I'm grateful for the opportunities, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm not here for no reason.
Right.
And so that was where kind of the creative process for that song came about.
And you get to LA to become stressed.
Exact. And that was the thing. Like I found myself, I had at the time I was working a full-time job,
Mm-hmm.
and I was not woke. I wasn't working on my music because I was when I got off of work,
Yeah.
I was so focused on the fact that I was gonna have to go back to work the next day that I wasn't thinking like, oh, like I need to be working on music. It was, let me wait till I have a day off because I have to work 5 days,
Mm-hmm.
and then on my day off. But then on my day off, I was exhausted. I didn't want to make music. I just wanted to watch TV all day.
Mm-hmm.
And so that once again is just a reminder. Like I didn't move out here to work a full
Yeah.
time job. I could have done that back home. And so
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and so
That's a
that's kind of yeah, that's what that song is about. Yeah.
That's amazing. I love that song. I love all, I mean, I'm not even trying to say like blow your head up, but I mean, you already know. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, really, when you're great and good at what you do, it's just, you attract a vibration of, others that are good at what they do. And I just, I feel like I said, I need to keep focused right now because I'm like, my words are going to get combobulated if I don't. So like, whoo. Okay, so features. You have managed to collaborate with so many other artists so far. And just to name a few, Tech Nine. You did an amazing job on Interfere.
Thank you.
Futuristic, Now and Never.
Hmm.
Dope sound. I think I was getting ready all day to that song.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
who
I
are
love
these
it.
people?
Yeah.
Let's see, ADB little E. Am I saying that right? Double M.
ADB Lil E, yup.
Mm-hmm. Shout out
That's
to,
my guy.
and of course, the YouTube cipher volume 2 was incredible.
Yep.
I mean, you just
Thank you.
amazing. So I want to ask you, Who else do you see yourself collaborating with? I mean, that you haven't.
Man, who
Right.
do I see myself collaborating with?
Mm-hmm.
So many other artists. My man's Merkums is in here. I want to collaborate with him again.
I was gonna say, let's not forget Crypt on Crypt too.
Oh, Crip too, of course. Yeah, I love Crip. Yeah, I really wanna collaborate with like other female
Mm-hmm.
rappers.
Okay.
Like because
Wow.
what I would like to do is change the dynamic of female rap in the sense of like I'm so sick of it having to be a competition. I want to work with Snow the Product because she's dope as hell. I
Okay.
don't want to have to like like pretend or try to be better than her or better than Lady Leisure or Lady London. Like they're
Mm-hmm.
all so dope. I want to work with them, not
Yeah.
against them.
I
I want
love.
to change and I want to make because female rap right now is doing really well with Meg and all of these other women who are kind of coming up,
Yeah.
but also kind of changing the dynamic of hip hop back to kind of like lyricism and all that kind of stuff. Which is like
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. I think we had talked about this. I'm not a hater.
Yeah.
I'm not a hater when it comes to like the way that music is today, but
Yeah.
I would like to bring back some sort of like lyricism in a way
Yeah.
without in a like yeah, like I said, not in a like oh man, I hate this like new age rap type stuff. Just like
Yeah.
I want to come back to that creativity where we're not doing
Mm-hmm.
the same song over and over with different lyrics. Rather,
Absolutely.
we are being creative in our processes with writing music.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm very into wordplay. So speaking of what you just said, I want to know what comes to mind, and it probably just means a lot of it, but I'd like you to just elaborate more on your ideal of freedom of expression.
Yeah. So I think we had talked about this the other day too. So whenever I talk about when people are like, "Oh, you're a real lyricist, you're a real rapper, blah
Yeah.
blah 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 blah,"
Yeah.
like what happened to the lyricism? Hip hop is dead. I
Mm,
always think about going back to like the 70s when hip hop was created, right? And what I think it was what DJ Cool Herc, he's the one who created hip hop, right? And when I think about it then, I always talk about like Cool in the Gang, right? They said a hip, a hop, a hip it to the hip hop. You know what I mean? Like
okay.
there's no lyricism in that.
No,
That's just having a good
yeah,
ass time. That's just having fun, expressing
yes.
themselves, especially because with every other genre that like African Americans have created
Mm,
have been taken over completely by other. You have rock and roll was created after blues
mm,
and country and all of those different things came from Black America. And then you have something where they were like, you're not taking this, right? You can't have this. It's a hip hop, freedom of expression.
yeah.
And then you have people who kind of use that to their advantage. They started becoming lyrical. You have people like Wu-Tang Clan and Tribe Called Quest who became a little bit more political with it. Like
Yeah.
there's ultimately to me, rap is 100% about freedom of expression.
Mm,
And so when people are like, "Oh, mumble rap, mumble rap, mumble rap,"
mm,
it doesn't make sense to me because if this is how somebody feels and it's making somebody want to turn up in the club,
mm-hmm.
who are you to tell them that what they're doing is wrong or it's not real music?
Right.
That's what I don't really appreciate. Um, Especially because I've seen, you have a lot of these people who are like, "Oh, I love Eminem. Eminem's the best rapper in the world."
Mm-hmm.
And like I could talk to somebody who's super into that, and then I could talk to somebody who's like, "Nah, you know what? Gucci Mane
Yeah.
is the number one rapper in the world."
Yeah.
Who's wrong?
Right.
Nobody's
Nobody.
wrong
Nobody.
because it's all subjective.
Mm-hmm.
And so realistically, I think it's just what do you like me when I'm expressing myself, what do I want to be remembered for? That's what's important.
Yes.
um and it's not really important like who is not rapping this way or not doing a bunch of inner scheme rhymes and all that kind of stuff. Like it don't matter.
Whatever.
It's I want to make music because this is how I feel, and that's what's more important than anything else.
Yeah. And it's making others feel what you're feeling. And that
Right.
It's what feelings feel is what feelings sound like.
Right. Exactly.
It's dope, you know. So with that said, would you say it's important to do what you love or to love what you do?
Yeah. So I would say that it's important to do what you love,
Yeah.
because it's harder to try to love what you do, than it is to do what you love. It's easier for me to rap than
Hmm.
for me to be a country artist and just trying to find love for what I do in writing country music when I don't.
Yeah.
And so I think that is what's way more important is to, yeah, do what you love. I think ultimately that is what's going to get you paid. That's what's going to get you played, all
Yes.
of that.
Ooh, I love your energy. Speaking of energy, so where do you find your inner peace? Like you talked about, of course, being in a state when you first moved and having
Mhm.
situations. So I know music, of course, is therapy. But where does your inner peace come from aside from your magic, your art?
I gotta say, I'm searching for that. Right now, I would say my inner peace would be in like knowing that regardless of how many times I fail,
Mm,
if I keep going,
mm-hmm.
that's the ultimate success, right? And so ultimately, I feel like I have to just keep going, and I find peace in that. Like
Mm-hmm.
I find peace in knowing that there are other artists that are on the same exact, path as me, but they gave up or they're thinking about giving up.
Mm-hmm.
And the only difference between us is the fact that they gave up or they're gonna give up.
Oof.
And to me, it's like you're not alone. You know what I mean? I think about giving up every day. I
Mm-hmm.
think about giving up every single day. I've had nights where I have literally cried and said, "This just isn't working. It's not
Yeah.
working." When I try to do something, I get a song with a big artist. It doesn't go crazy. It doesn't blow up the way I want it to. I'm like, "Oh, this is a failure.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'm never gonna make it." And those times, when I remind myself, hey, there are other artists that are going through it, that's peace to me.
Yeah.
Yo.
That's crazy.
Yo.
Say that because and I always bring my mommy into this conversation. She's probably watching, but she always tells me because I say that a lot, like, when I get there, that whole conversation, because when I get there, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah,
like, well, you're already there, and
exactly.
whether you're being seen as a mainstream artist, whether you're being on stage with accolades and things like that, you have to realize you were born to be who you are.
Yeah.
It's the process
Hmm.
that's going to make you even greater. I think
Yep.
not to hate on anybody who's born into it and given the silver spoon and
Right.
born as the daughter or son of a singer, daughter or son of a hip hop artist. But I think the struggle is what makes you even better and greater. So that when you are there,
Definitely.
yeah, it's not so unappreciated, if that makes
No,
sense.
definitely. And that, with that being said too, like I always think back, I'll listen to old music that I made like 2 years ago. And
Yeah,
that's when I wanted it so bad. I was like, I want to be rich and famous right now.
right now.
And I listen to my music and I'm like, ew, like like I could not, like, this was never gonna, I wasn't gonna make it with this. And that's not in a way it's like, oh, I'm not good enough. It's just like we all need to grow and to become prepared for that, right? The journey is so important because it's preparing you for the blessing or
Yes.
preparing you for where you want to be at. You
Mm-hmm.
can't just jump,
No.
you know, yeah, you can't jump up 100 steps. You got to walk
Yeah.
up each step.
Whew.
And then you can maybe jump 2 steps to get to the top, but
Come on.
you're not getting all the way up there immediately. So I think that is so important to remember. Like the journey is not just, it's not just like, sorry, the
Yeah.
journey is not making you, it's not forcing you to like just be sad and about everything for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to mold yourself and mold your brain to be ready for 100 million people saying you're not good,
Amen.
you're terrible, you know what I mean?
That's a
You
lot.
got to prepare yourself to be
Now,
ready.
you won't be
Yeah.
then, because
Yeah.
I mean, look at what happens on even here on Instagram, right? It's like a double-edged sword.
Hmm.
So it's like, oh, you got all these
Hmm.
people comment, then all of a sudden they hate you, you know? So it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. And like when I had first started, it was crazy because I was getting a lot of hate comments.
oh,
And I was like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can put up with this.
mm-hmm,
But then every day you get a little bit stronger. I got a little bit stronger. And so when I see a hate comment, oh, she's
yeah,
not good, or oh, she's, I get a lot of like comments about my weight type stuff.
yeah,
Oh, she's, okay.
okay.
Those are things that I can change. But
Mm-hmm.
you're sitting behind the keyboard
Cannot change.
mad as hell. And I'm glad, right? And I'm glad that on this journey I've been able to become more confident and become more able to take that criticism,
Mm,
because I might not necessarily be ready for the fame now, but in 2 years, if I do get there, I'll be ready.
yeah.
I can take on anything.
Well, in my eyes, you're there.
Oh, thank you.
Great. You know, like, and that's why I think, having this conversation, I think it's for everybody, whether it be one person or 10 people who hear this. It's
Hmm.
so important to acknowledge that. And I think we talked about that, like affirmations and manifestation,
Yeah.
that, like, because I talk myself out of things too, like
Yep.
talk about my day to day. Like it's happy and bubbly as I am right now I went through it. And maybe it was because of who I was about to be in front of.
Yeah.
To get to you, I had to go through some hell today. No,
Right. Yeah, exactly.
woo, you don't even. But it's that deep, and I agree with you. I totally agree with you. So, what are your thoughts when I say the two words, or I should say terms, and we're talking about it? So, mainstream comes to mind first, or I'll say it the other way around: underground, and then
You
main.
said what are the words that come to my head when
What comes
what?
to your mind when I say the words underground?
Mm.
And then when I say the word mainstream.
Yeah. Um, when I hear underground, I think um happiness. I
Create.
think,
Oh,
yeah, creative control. I think real genuine fans, real
mm,
supporters. I think people who care about you for you and are not going to jump on the hate train the second that something comes up where you said something 25 years ago, or you did something that was crazy, and people aren't trying to cancel you for every little thing.
mm,
That's what I think of when I hear underground. I
wow.
think of respect,
Mm,
like people not I could say I was on a song with Tech Nine to people who only listen to mainstream music, and they'd be like, I don't listen to him, but I know who he is and I respect him. But
mm-hmm.
you say what, underground people, and it's the same thing, or it's, oh, I love him.
Yeah.
And so when I think of underground, I just think of like real music, not trying to make the next hit so that I can get a percentage of the paycheck that label owes me.
Ooh, mm,
And then, yeah,
wow.
when I think of mainstream, I think of clout,
Yeah.
Instagram followers, Twitter followers. I
Mm-hmm.
think of following trends,
Mm,
trying to be, uh, yeah, like, or I think of like award shows, all those kind of things.
mm,
Like there are so many albums that are so great that will never win a Grammy, that will never win, a BET award, that I listen to every single day.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And but because it's not followed by the mainstream, it will never get played. And that's not necessarily for me. I'll take the mainstream if I get to have the creative control, if I get to have
Yeah.
the real fans,
Mm-hmm.
if I get to have the money that I make for myself, and not, a label giving me a percent of, like I said, of something that I created
Right.
myself.
Yeah.
I'll take the mainstream if I can own my masters.
Come on, talk about it. And
Yeah,
keep your government name with it, okay?
exactly.
You know
Yeah.
name, okay? Um,
Hmm.
so that's interesting because you are a member of social community, Indie Amplify.
Hmm.
So talk about how that has been definitely a big impact when it comes to what we're talking about, collaborating and networking.
Yeah, it's been great. I've gotten to work with some artists who I probably wouldn't have been able to work with without Indie Amplify.
Yeah.
You know, it's a platform that allows people like regular artists
Mm-hmm.
who just, they don't know where to go to, do playlisting, to do like content creation with like video stuff, doing or video editing and all that kind of stuff. That's a playlisting, and then features and stuff, collaborations. And
Yeah.
I think it's a super helpful tool for independent artists.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I haven't personally like purchased a feature from anyone just yet, just because like I'm so tunnel vision on my own stuff right now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but I think it's a great tool for independent artists.
Well, I like the platform too. When I saw you, I'm like, look at Lex. Okay. Okay. So I'm learning so much from you just in a short time. I mean, like I said, I do this. It's crazy. I've only been doing the interviews and journalism for 6 months, like literally. And it's just crazy because it's I know it's meant. It's not a coincidence. It's like I'm being taught in every conversation, the dialogue I have.
Mhm.
And I can be picky and choosy. I mean, I'm in front of dope artists like yourself. So, uh, tell me, who have you actually been listening to lately? Who have you listened to
Mm.
today? Which artists?
Yeah. So as far as like hip hop,
Mm-hmm.
really, 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 really big into right currently I've been listening to a lot of Shmino,
Mm,
yeah, Buddy,
mm-hmm.
a lot of that underground. Who else? Let's see. I don't know. I don't tend to listen to a lot of hip hop,
Mm-hmm.
which is crazy. Like you would think because
Yeah.
I just feel like it's kind of like a you don't shit where you eat type of thing, where it's like I guess it's I'm
Mm,
so I want an ear break
yeah.
sometimes. So
Yeah.
I tend to listen to a lot of neo soul more than
Mm,
anything. Um, there's a couple French DJs slash artists that I listen to. Crayon, he's a neo soul
mm,
artist. FKJ or Fresh Kiwi Juice. I don't know. That's why his name is like that, but he makes some really dope stuff.
like it.
Uh, yeah,
Juicy.
Darius. Yeah. Yeah, and I listen to a lot of house music too.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm really big into house.
I used to be a houser when I was in high school.
Oh, really?
Nobody
That's it.
knows.
Yes, look, I all the concerts that I've ever gone to were like EDM concerts, so I'm really big into that.
Crazy. I love
Yeah.
it. So we're in the middle, of course, of COVID, pandemic. I call it pandemic one because the real pandemic, of course, is racism. So in that, reignited because it's not something that's new for some people. It's new to them because they didn't know it was.
Yeah.
But that's a
Hmm.
whole nother interview in itself. But how has this shift, because I call it a shift, and even in light of what you're talking about with what's happening, like I feel that this is a shift. So you talked about the music, the sounds of different types of music. Underground, I think underground is shifting to be first,
Hmm.
and mainstream is shifting to be last. I think a lot of things are shifting right now, just like
Hmm.
that's just, spiritually speaking, first will be last and last will be first. um,
Yeah.
but how has this shift been a blessing for you, overall? Like, what has life taught you this year in 2020?
Mm. Well, it didn't teach. Actually, yes, it taught me a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in so I told you this, but I went to my first year of college. I went to school and I was studying political science. Right. I was like, oh, I want to be a congressman.
Wow.
I have a tattoo.
Look at.
Uh, People can see it. It says "Pain, Passion, Purpose," and it is it's part of a quote from a congressman. He used to say it all the time. It's Congressman Elijah Cummings, and he would say, basically, you take that pain that you have and
Mm,
you turn it into a passion, which shows your purpose.
my God.
Uh, and
Wow.
he unfortunately passed away,
Mm,
but when I was at school, when I was studying political science, I was like, yeah, I want to be a congressman. Like, I want to be able to do good.
Yeah.
And through that time, I changed because I was like, I don't think that I'll be able to make the difference that I want to make
Yeah.
um, going that route.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I was always really big with activism, right? I think I had told you when I was in high school, I led a Black Lives Matter walkout at my school.
Mm.
We walked out during class in solidarity with another school who had a kid do like a racist rant
Mm.
on Periscope, and he was like, Abraham Lincoln is a traitor to the white race, and you
Right.
know,
Yeah.
yeah, just super. And but the craziest part was, okay, people say stuff like that all the time.
Yeah.
The kid didn't get expelled, but the girl who posted his video
Mm.
to show what he had said, she got suspended from school. She
Oh,
was a young African American girl. And so everyone was just heated. Like,
yeah.
why is he not getting expelled, but she's getting suspended for showing people what he said?
Mm.
And but
Right.
this year I watched, during I remember exactly when all of it happened because I had just released my EP, and it was like almost like at the same time. It was May 30th or May 31st, and that was right around George Floyd.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Um and I just watched a narrative of I watched everyone's like Instagrams change, right?
Yeah.
You got people who never said anything before saying stuff, posting the black screens or whatever.
Boy.
And at first I was like, wow, like we might be making a change. Like people are starting to wake up, people are starting to see, right?
Mm.
And then the hype dies down, the
Yeah.
hype, and it's back to normal feeds.
Mm.
It's back to the same mode.
Yeah.
And um
Mm. Mm-mm.
I don't know, it made me realize a lot. And it made the one biggest thing it made me realize was just like other people's lives will continue. Doesn't matter how bad we're hurting.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, you know, about anything.
Yeah.
Everyone else's lives will continue.
Mm-hmm.
This will be a phase. This will be something that they can put on their resume. I went to a Black Lives Matter rally, and so I think it also made me see our government differently
Mm-hmm.
because I told you I was going to be political science,
Yeah.
right? And then to see that our government isn't doing anything,
Mm-mm.
nothing.
Mm-mm.
They don't care. During the pandemic, they gave us $1,200 for
Yeah.
9 months
32
while
weeks.
they're 32 weeks while people are dying, homeless people,
Yeah.
no food, no people are still getting evicted.
Yeah.
People are getting evicted, people are getting their lights turned off, their water turned off
Mm-hmm.
still. And then you have people outside protesting about the fact that they have to wear a mask.
Yeah.
And then the same people losing family members and then calling it a hoax. And
Yeah.
it just like it made me realize like no matter what, you can't like force people to feel something um or like understand something if they ultimately don't want to,
Right.
right?
Right.
I might be rambling going off, but I get like emotional about this topic.
First, the real. I think it's in third world country. You know,
Right.
people can spend $600 today and it'd be gone.
It's gone. It's gone on the debt that they and while they're giving corporations $1 billion bailouts,
Yeah.
it's just insane.
Yeah.
And these congressmen, they make six figures, they make $400,000 a year, who are in charge of how much money the American citizens are making. Is ridiculous to me. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And just the idea, I think I had said this to you earlier when I was in school, there was this dude, he was a really big, heavy Republican. He was, and I have no issues with anyone based off their political party, but he made it his whole entire personality, right?
Mm.
So he would wear his like Trump that chick shirt on with the American flag sticking out of his hat every day to school, right? And I was like, he's gonna get elected, and I'm gonna have to go and fight for him, and he's gonna get elected into a district where he represents only maybe 10% of the population.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to try to make the decisions for a population that he doesn't represent. And I
Yeah.
hate that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I was like, I'm going to do music instead. And
Oh,
I'm going to be able to use my voice with music to reach people. And I can say whatever the hell I want.
yeah. Exactly. But I think
Yeah.
you're still saying it with everything, because I think, even using our platforms, even as we are, even in this short period of time, we're talking about it. Somebody's here.
Yeah.
And I think the important thing too is to realize, despite of what has just happened with these terms and voting, I think, yes, it was a great outcome, but we do have to get more involved, like you said, in local, when it's time for elections, when it comes to the local level, because if we
Yeah.
vote for the right people on a local level, when it comes to the mayor,
Exactly.
and,
District attorneys, all of that.
yeah, look what happened
Yep.
in Kentucky. I mean, hello. So somebody voted for that guy. A bunch of people did.
Exactly.
So but yeah, I think it's crucial. And yeah, we as artists, just people in general, in our families daily, need to bring it up and not be afraid. You're
I
gonna
agree.
get in arguments. People
You are.
don't like hearing the truth.
No, they don't. You
um
know what? And honestly, like, I think it's gonna get to a point. I mean, I don't know if you just heard this, but like, I just yesterday, Tamir Rice,
mm,
12-year-old child,
mm,
playing with a toy gun. This was 6 years ago.
mm-hmm,
They finally they ruled it, and they said that the cops, there's not enough evidence to prove that the cops were guilty of killing him. He opened the door, and within, I think it was like not even a second,
yeah,
came out, shot this kid, this child,
yeah, I
in
saw.
an open carry state where you're allowed to have a gun.
Yeah, scary.
That's terrifying. And people are going to get pissed to the point where I really think that there is going to be, I hope that there's not a lot of bloodshed, but I do think that there is going to be some sort of like uprising
Yeah,
in a way,
and we just have
because it's just ridiculous. Yeah.
to pray. I mean, I don't know everybody's religious background, but I don't think you need to be religious to pray, to speak life.
Absolutely.
What, because yeah, it's what we just went through was literally like a war, and it's not over.
It's not over.
So we just really, really have to, love on each other. And then, of course, with the negativity, keep it away from us. I saw earlier today another woman, she was inside of a UPS store and talking about this mask thing. She told the girl, she's the only one in there without a mask. And they said, put your mask on. She said she's not going to conform. But we have like millions of people dying. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Thinking that we're conforming to something. So
yeah,
and I know of people, like when my family knows people. I know someone yesterday that told me he knew 15 people personally. You know what I'm saying? So you could say it's not real. You just go ahead and keep on hanging out like you do.
right.
But yeah, it's something going on in here, and that's a big thing too, because they say part of having COVID, it messes with your mind.
Yeah. I think it's really it's an entitlement thing, right?
Yeah.
It's a thing with a certain group of
Group of,
people. And I'm not saying
yeah.
for the 10 people, I'm not saying white people. I'm just saying there's a group of people who have this idea that this is oppression, right? That this public health pandemic that we're going through is a form of trying to oppress them, right?
Yeah.
I always see this argument. It's like, oh, they're trying to, I'm not going to take the vaccine because they are going to put a microchip in us, or they're going to they want to be able to what's the word I'm looking for? Control us. And I'm like, or track us. And I'm like, you have a iPhone that has location services on, right? You're being tracked. Everything, yes. When you go and you Google search a red sweater, when you go scroll on Instagram, you're gonna see a red sweater pop up.
Yes.
Because that you're already being tracked,
Right.
So what you need to do is start being empathetic and saying, okay, you know what, it might not necessarily affect me, but it affects other people around me.
Mm-hmm.
And just because I don't see it doesn't mean it isn't there. But
Yeah.
they don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
Because they've never had to do it before. A lot of minorities, like if something happens to a Hispanic person,
Mm-hmm.
we know because we feel it and we've seen it because we know, like we can relate to it, so we have empathy for it.
Yeah.
If something happens to an Asian, etc., if something happens to a Black person,
Mm-hmm.
but then these other people who have never had a single bit of oppression, they don't know how to be
Yeah.
empathetic.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so they don't know until, oh, I'm not wearing a mask.
Yeah.
Oh no,
Until
10 days later,
yeah.
I'm at my grandfather's funeral because he didn't wear a mask.
Yeah.
Like
It's crazy.
crazy.
It's crazy. So we just really have to just keep living for ourselves and speaking to the culture,
Mm-hmm.
and to those who are listening, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And again, thank God for you, because you are a wise one. A lot of people, yes, education is keen, but I always say, you don't want to be an educated fool though either, because a lot of
That's
people
it.
degrees and masters, they have no street smarts a lot of times, and they're just not wise. And
Mm-hmm.
it's okay to be book smart but have no knowledge of like what we're talking about here. Like this shit is really happening.
Right.
Your book cannot fix that.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
but yeah, that's again a whole nother,
It's a whole nother year. Yeah.
It's okay, it's real, right? So let me ask you this, because we're talking about this right now. So
Mm-hmm.
physical possessions in life in general, and things that of course have been put in front of us as the goal to achieve. But if you were forced to eliminate every physical possession from your life,
Mm-hmm.
with the exception of what you could put into a backpack, what would you put in it?
All right, we got to start. We have to have a pad and a pen,
Okay.
right?
Pad and pen.
Uh,
Let me get my pen.
so I think that shouldn't take up too much of the backpack, right?
Yeah. Have a pad and a pen.
Gotta have a pad and a pen. You got to be able to write.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably have a good fiction book.
Okay.
So I don't know. I've been reading a lot more self-help books
Mm-hmm.
than anything. So I might have to put one of those books in there too. I've been reading this book. It's called The Power of the Subconsciousness. It's a great book. About halfway through.
Yeah.
What else?
Backpack.
Backpack.
Only the
I
size.
would like to be able to fit. I'd like to be able to fit my laptop in there.
Okay, yeah, laptop could fit.
Laptop could fit. I gotta hear some beats.
Mm-hmm.
So I might need some headphones.
Yeah.
Of course, put those in there. Maybe the AirPods.
Yeah.
And what else?
Crazy, huh? I thought about this today. I was just like, oof. What would I do?
Yeah, right. Right. I think that's really about it.
Okay.
Couple books, laptop, AirPods, or headphones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said book too. I said the Bible.
Okay.
I mean, I don't read every day, but I need to have my Bible. And I said a microphone. I gotta have like all my matte lipsticks, my
Nice.
There's my Ruby Woo. And definitely some undies. So I'm like thinking like, I gotta have undies.
Oh no, I'm just gonna go commando.
Oh Jesus. Yeah, I need at least 20 pair up in there. Yes, thinking about some of the things, because we're so used to everything we have, and I think so many of us have lost so much this year. So it's like,
oh man,
we got rid of so much stuff recently, Lex. Like out of the house, like big stuff that was taking so much space, and it felt like, how they say you clearing out the house and doing a feng shui, but it was like it moved things so that more could come into my life, not physical things, but people. I mean, this you look at this, like out the blue, like where did she come from? But I really believe and feel that I felt like moving all this heavy stuff, just sitting in the house, not being used, opened up, some doors, and some a room for me to breathe and to feel and to I don't know. That's just me. Like I vibe off energy and synergy and feng shui and all that stuff. So it's crucial. It's real. You know, it's very,
Yeah.
very real.
I just moved from LA to Arizona,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and when I was looking for places out here, I was like, all right, you know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rent like a moving truck. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna have my mom come. She can drive my car, and I'll drive my moving truck
Yeah.
with all my stuff in it.
Yeah.
The moving truck to get all my stuff here was
Mm-hmm.
gonna be like $1,400.
Wow.
So I said,
Get rid of
no. Get rid of I got rid of everything. The only things I have a two-door Honda Accord 2006,
Wow.
and I said if it doesn't fit, it's not going. So I had to get rid of
Yeah.
everything: my fridge, my bed, my couch, my TV stand, my desk. I had to get rid of everything, all of my kitchen stuff. I the only thing that I did bring was my clothes, really, and
Yeah.
my TV,
Yeah.
and that was it.
So that's all.
Yep. And that's because you just can't get attached to like
Thing.
things, material things.
Mm-hmm.
Because you will not have them forever. You can't take all that stuff to the grave. You take a really fly ass outfit to the grave, that's it.
You preaching now. So what would you say? I mean, because you just gave us like some major gems in this entire conversation of an interview. I don't feel it was an interview. I felt it was more like just Lex's gems. But what would you say is the best advice you have actually been given? You've given us some major gems, but what is the best advice you've been given?
Yeah, so I said this to you the first time we talked, and it will always be the best
Yes.
thing that I've ever heard, and that is comparison is the thief of joy. It's 100% gonna be the most important, most vital. That is the most calming thing to me, is remembering that the only person who you are in competition with is your past self.
Mm.
Making sure that you are learning from the mistakes and not going back into those mistakes,
Mm.
and making sure that you are um, able to see ahead, without getting too anxious about it,
Mm.
but just knowing that you will grow and you'll continue to get there. So yeah, don't compare yourself to other people, because other people are not you. You
Mm.
haven't gone through the same stuff as other people. I don't care what this person's gone through or this person had, did to get to where they are. It has no effect on where you can be
Mm.
and where you can get to.
Wow.
So that's the advice.
I love it. Well, I appreciate you so much. Like I said, we will definitely have to do a round two, a part two, because this is an
Definitely.
eye-opening experience for me to really see who you are as a person. And that's why I said the face behind the brand really is what it is. I mean, we already know that you're dope. You know what I'm saying? If anyone on here doesn't know, download everything she's got. She's dope. But we also want to know, I want to know who you are behind the largest emotional organ, which is the face. So
Yes.
you have been incredible. I see Sun Cheebs in the building. Sun Cheebs is an amazing producer out of the ATL, Atlanta. He said, can you come to Atlanta and teach this class?
Hey.
Shout
That's
out to
dope as hell.
yes, that's amazing. So yes, please stay in touch and take us out and let us know, besides Instagram, where we can find you and the platforms we can find your music.
Yeah, so you can find me on any major platform: Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, what else?
Mm-hmm.
Google Play, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Lex Bratcher, LexBratcher.
Yes.
YouTube, find me there. That's where I tend to post a lot of my like free verses. And yeah, that's
Yes.
about it. Oh, TikTok too. I'm on TikTok now. One of my TikToks just went like viral, so it was like
My
crazy.
God, that's crazy. I'm still trying to
So
TikTok. I just be TikToking and there's nothing happening.
yeah.
I'm not, but I'm taking time with it. It's a process.
That's it. It's a process. At first it doesn't make sense, and then you scroll and you're like, oh, I'm addicted now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I want to take you out with something, if you don't mind me giving you a blessing, because you blessed us tonight.
Let's do it.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Lex. Happy birthday to you.
Wow. Thank you.
Happy birthday, because you are a
Thank you.
Capricorn and your birthday
You know,
coming, and it's
it's
all
coming up.
season.
I appreciate you. That was beautiful. Thank you.
So stay in touch, and I'll talk to you soon. And Happy New Year.
Of course. Thank you. Yes. Have a good day, okay?
Peace.
It's peace.